So today I will do an overview of the program, and then I'll do also kind of a live demo on how you can submit your application. But at any point, feel free to raise your hand using reactions on the Zoom toolbar or write your question in the chat box. And thank you very much for joining us on a Friday for this info session. So just to give you a sense of what I'm going to talk about, then I will talk about the goals of the program, a little bit of the structure, if there's any cost and other resources, what is the eligibility? I'll do that application platform. And in the last part of this presentation, I'll have a space for you to ask any questions. So let's take kind of a vistazo, as we say in Spanish, an overview of the program. So this will be the second year the Just Transition Leadership Program is bringing together passionate people across Washington State. And the idea is to what I call learn about community organizing, but in a way that we are co-learning. We are learning from each other. We are relearning what our ancestors taught us, and maybe we are not remembering very well, and maybe unlearning what this system, extractive system, had taught us, and we need to kind of live again to embrace the principles of liberation and solidarity. So the main goal is really to promote a positive change in our communities, to promote liberation in Washington State, and of course through a community-led just transition. I'll talk more about just transition, but if you are new to this concept, I want to make a distinction. There are many people who talk about the just transition. In general, when we talk or hear about a just transition, especially in mainstream media, it's generally talked about that transition from fossil fuels to renewable energies. However, a community-led transition, it's a little bit different. It is abandoning that extractive economy to go into a regenerative one, where there's a deep democracy. This is where all of us have a voice at the decision-making table. And self-determination is kind of a crucial point of this framework. We'll learn more in the program about this framework, but just to give you a sense of some of the goals of this project, first of all is building a solidarity network across Washington State and across the US, but actually you'll see that many of us come from many parts of the world. So it becomes an international solidarity network. Actually, in the first cohort, more than half of the participants were immigrants coming from Africa, from Latin America, and from Asia. So this is really a multicultural program. The idea is to explore, again, what this community-led just transition framework is and how we can apply it and implement it in our communities. We want to learn also about new strategies on community organizing and activism, as well as how to do what it's called community-based project, although I prefer community-led projects. We want to foster that collective power through our advocacy and communication skills. And advocacy, I know that for some of us might be something new, but as we say in Front and Center, we advocate to our parents, to our teachers. When we're asking for something that we want, we're advocating. So I'll talk more about that in a little bit when I talk about the site visits. But again, it's that idea of co-learning in a cohort and through mentoring. So we will have some mentors from the first cohort, as well as some activists and leaders in the movement who are willing to mentor and to be part of the Solidarity Network. And again, we want to explore what means liberation for our communities through environmental justice, climate justice, and social justice. Here, there's not and or it's everything at the same time. So we'll try to support each other in this journey. So in general, the commitment is 9 months. It starts in September formally, and then the program ends in May. The commitment is 6 hours per month, and it's divided in modules. So from September to May, you will have those learning modules. But before we begin, those who are accepted in the program, we have an initial mini retreat in August. This is a way to get to know each other, to share ideas, to tell us what you would like to see in the next 9 months, and for us at Front and Centered, to share a little bit on how we are going to work and the logistics of the program. This year, we are going to include 2 site visits, one to the east side of the state and what we call Advocacy Day, which is a day in Olympia. We provide all the training, and there are meetings with senators and legislators at closed doors. So we will train you on that. And finally, in June, we have what we call the Leaders Celebration. So Leaders Celebration is an opportunity to share what you did in the program and then to connect and cheer each one accomplishments. Each month, again, from September to February, we will have a 2-hour seminar that is usually Tuesdays, although we have a survey where we ask those who are accepted what will be their preferred date. And then this is via Zoom. And then we will have also guest speakers. Again, they give examples of how they are implementing the ideas we explore during the seminar. And finally, there are exercises, interactive exercises that you can do individually, or you can partner with other people. And then finally, from March and May, you're on your own. You will be doing a community-led project or a community center project with an opportunity to partner, although we have special panels, and I'll talk more about those special panels in a little bit. But I think that something that all participants really value is that mentoring, that peer mentoring, the alumni connecting with them and with other leaders. And of course, I will be supporting the program together with more people at Front and Center. See, Sharon, thank you for sharing in the chat. My hope is to help move just transition programs in Washington State and across the US, working with leaders of diverse cultures and ages to help create a regenerative economy. That's exactly the spirit of this program. So thank you for being here and sharing a little bit of what you want. And I'll go because that is very important. Thank you, Sharon. Actually, that will be part of the application. But in terms of topics, again, we have a kind of a platform called Easy Generator. Easy Generator, it's similar for those of you who have used Canvas, or there are so many other platforms where you can go back to access the materials, the readings, anything that you might want to review. So we have 4 main topics, which are just transition strategies, power and governance, strategic communications, and the design and implementation of community-based projects. And as I mentioned, while you are doing your community-centered projects, we have panels with the specialists, and one is in co-governance and solidarity without borders, then resourcing the movement, what is nonprofit grants and resources, and one that was one of the best ones this year was on data sovereignty. what is that and how can we accomplish that? So you'll see that we have great speakers joining us throughout the 9 months of the program. And you will be able to connect with them. For example, one of the presenters last year was Rebecca Saldaña, Representative Rebecca Saldaña, who facilitated one of the modules on power and governance. So you'll have the chance to interact with people who have been working on the movement and leading the movement for many, many years. Now, I mentioned if there was a cost. Actually, there's no cost. It's a completely free program. We want to honor your time, and you will be committing to 6 hours per month. So actually, we will give a compensation to your organization. And why I'm saying organization, if individuals are the ones who participate? Well, because we, Front and Center per policy, gives compensation to the organization. Now the organization can say, hey, you know, I don't know, Chris, you have been investing 6 hours per month. This is how much it will be equivalent to kind of the hours we pay. But then because there are some work that the organization had to do, maybe the organization will keep the indirect cost, 10% of that. So compensation right now, we are giving $5,000 divided in 2 checks, one in the mid program and one at the end of the program. In addition, we give funding for final projects. That will be $1,500, which is a small project. You don't have to solve the world in 3 months. So it's enough money to implement a small pilot project. And of course, as I mentioned, there are some in-person events. So we will be covering all travel expenses, hotels, meals. We will kind of have reimbursements for example, gas or mileage. And because we will be connecting via Zoom many times. Let's say your camera for connecting with Zoom is not working very well. Or, hey, you might need an extra computer. We have limited funds, but that's what we call emergency funds because we want everyone to be present and as active as possible. I promise I will stop monopolizing the microphone in a little bit in case you have any questions. But right now, the eligibility is preference. Again, preference is given. It's not close to. So if you have connected with Front and Center through a project, a program, you are part of the coalition or have partnered in any way with Front and Center, that is good to go. And we're looking for staff, but also active volunteers. It's not just only for those who are working full-time. We give preference to early and mid-level leadership levels. And for executive directors, we are preparing a new program on leadership. This will be a summer program to open in 2026. So for all executive directors, this will be a shorter program, summer program, but very meaningful, and we will be doing it in collaboration with University of Washington. We are looking for people who are interested in transformative leadership, not a leadership to tell people what to do, but really to encourage people to join the movement and who are interested in advancing a leadership position. For example, why not joining the Environmental Justice Council or a board? Because we need those voices or your voices in those spaces. Any experience in environmental justice, climate justice, or social justice will be great. Interest in learning about just transition. Unfortunately, this is only for those who are over 18, We are thinking about other opportunities for youth. So that will be coming in the future. But for now, anyone over 18 years old, organizations in Washington state. That means that maybe if you live in Oregon, but your organization is in Washington state, as long as your organization is in Washington state, that's not a problem. And again, having that commitment of 6 hours per month for 9 months. Finally, what will be the application? And I'll do the short demo, but the application is very easy. We need to know who are you, some basic personal information, how we can get in contact with you. And there will be 3 open questions. We're asking about 150 words. That will be like half a page. You don't have to make a long essay. This is a short answer. So what does leadership mean to you? And do you have any experience working on projects or programs around EJ, CJ, social justice, or just transition? Again, don't tell me yes or no. Tell me, yes, I have done all these amazing things. Be as specific as possible. And then how do you think that your participation in this program could have a positive impact either in your organization or your community? Consider that applications will close on the first week of June. After that, there will be a selection committee who will be reviewing all applications. And we will let you know kind of by mid-June if you were selected to move into the next part, which will be an interview with the committee, or if maybe we will invite you to other opportunities through Front and Centered. This year, we were expecting to get, and this is kind of, I'm getting in the political arena, we were expecting to get funding from the EPA, and you know how those things are going. So initially, the cohort was going to be 24 people. However, due to frozen funds, we are committed to continue with the project, but we will be accepting between 8 to 14 people this time. That doesn't mean that if you are not selected, you cannot apply to other things. We're considering other opportunities to offer to you, but we want to be transparent on how many people we can accept at this time. Before I go into the demo, let me go quickly into that demo. And you're seeing my cheat for the chat. So if you click on the link or you go to Front and Centered and you go Movement Building Community Leadership, you will get to this page. You can change your language, whatever is your preferred language. You can go to the upper left side to change your language. There's Spanish, there are many. Consider that it's automatic translation, so it might not be perfect, but it's something. You'll read a little bit on how we see Just Transition leadership program and the kind of more as a group. If your organization will prefer to apply as a group, there's what we call the community assemblies. So the Just Transition Leadership Program, it's an individual track. That means one person per organization can participate. You can click here in the Just Transition and we'll give you some information. You'll see Silly Me dancing in that video. And then that will take you to the it's called the Wise Hive platform. This is a new platform that we will be using for applications. You will be invited to create a small profile. It is free. And then you will be, you'll see kind of the information I shared with you in a landing page. And if you prefer to read this information in Spanish, there will be a hyperlink. And then when you go into the application, as you can see, I'm seeing some applications. You will see, let me see if I can go into the test view. I don't know if I can do the test view. Let me see, everyone has, it will be just kind of a very small, small form that you have to fill out together with the questions. And then you can see that there's an internal review and an interview review, and you will notify. Wherever is a decision, we will notify everyone. So if you haven't heard from me or anyone in Front and Center, and let's say it's June 15, please send me an email. Say, Isabel, what happened with my application? But that is a little bit of what it's the program in a nutshell. And I'm going to put the link to that page where you can find that button to apply. And then I'm going to also add my email in case you have any questions or would like to send me any comment, or, hey, Isabel, I had trouble with the application or the platform, I cannot submit it. Whatever you have questions, you can please send me an email at any point. Now, after all that big chunk of information, which I will be sharing with you all, I'll share the presentation so you have access. Want to open for any questions that any of you might have. And again, if you want to ask in Spanish or in English, Humberto is helping us with the audio in Spanish. Feel free to raise your hand or mute. Yes.
Hello, Isabel. This is Luis. How are you? Isabel, I just clicked on the link and I would like to know which application should I fill out?
So Luis, and I know that some people join a little bit after, and although Humberto is doing the simultaneous interpretation, if you didn't, Luis is asking, well, for example, an organization like Amigos in Seattle, what would be a good application? So Luis, this will be an excellent application, for example, for you or a member in your organization who would like to apply individually to this. The funds will go to Amigos de Seattle, for example, but the member of your organization will be taking the different modules. Now, the way we design the modules is that we have not homework, I like to say mini projects that then participants can take back into their organization. So let's say a tool, maybe a document, information that might be useful to the organization. So does that answer your question, Luis?
Yes, thank you. When I came in, I heard something about a study with Washington University. Is that the same?
So it's going to be next year, and that will be, and Sunrise is asking the same question. So EDs can apply, executive directors can apply to these, but consider that we give preference to those who are in initial or mid-career levels. For executive directors, we will start a leadership program next year, next summer 2026, for directors that will be a little bit more advanced, but will be shorter, and that it's the one with University of Washington. So not that we are close to executive directors, you can still apply, but some preference will be given to those who are in mid and early levels. ¿Te contesté la pregunta? Perfectísimo. And Sunrise also
Gracias.
asks, what if one changes your job and you have a new job that it's out of Washington? We can always talk about this, Sunrise, no problem. We're very flexible. It's just about chatting, and we can make sure to see how we accommodate anyone who will be in that situation. Eileen.
Hola, Isabel. Yes, I had a question. I wasn't prepared with the organization that I wanted to represent, but after I've already posted my intro, I was actually thinking I'm associated with an organization called Defenders of Highline Forest, and I'm pretty active with them, and I feel like that would be a more appropriate organization to represent. They're here in the Highline area, like Burien, SeaTac, Des Moines, Tukwila. And I wanted to know, does the organization need to be a 501c3, or does having a fiscal sponsor who is a 501c3 qualify?
Yeah, great question, Eileen. Yes, preferred 501c3, but if there's any fiscal sponsor,
Okay.
totally fine. The
Okay.
reason is the check will be going to the fiscal sponsor or the organization. And
Okay.
then the organization and the fiscal sponsor will work with the individual, in this case, yourself, for example, and
Okay.
say, Eileen, maybe the organization and the fiscal sponsor will keep 10% and the rest of the money will go to you. That is something that we leave up to the organizations and the individuals to work out, and
Okay.
consider that we sent an MOU
Okay.
for all those who are accepted, and that
Mhm.
MOU have to be signed by the executive director of the organization.
Okay. Okay, wonderful. Yes, I know I've personally worked with our fiscal sponsor when I personally did some fundraising for a campaign, and was able to facilitate that donation. So yeah, thank you so much. That is good to know. Good to hear.
Thank you. And Sharon added, like, a fiscal sponsor may take 10%, but maybe they are willing to take a smaller percentage. That's why we leave it to you all to negotiate that.
Perfect. Last time they didn't take anything, so hopefully that's the case this time. Yeah.
Thank you. Mathieu?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask. So because when I was starting my draft, I put a different organization for the organization I'm going to be using. So when I get ready to complete the application, should I just go ahead and change the email address, or?
Yes, if possible, that would be great. And let's say you completed your application and you submit it, but wow, you are like, no, maybe I wanted to change something. What can I do? So either you send me an email directly, or what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the last application anyone submitted. So let's say someone submits on May 10th and then resubmits a new one on May 29th. I'm considering that there were some changes, and that's why they sent a new one, and I'll take the May 29, unless I receive an email telling me, no, Isabel, sorry. But if you have any trouble with the application, just send me an email.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Chris.
Yeah, my question is more geared towards what you mentioned regarding a youth center program focused. I work partially in school and I work with my organization. So leadership building activities has been like, I just kind of want to know if you guys have done it before, or if you have a reference of a structure. What is it that you guys cover or might want to cover?
Yes, we have several organizations in the coalition have done that youth leadership programs, and I can happy to connect you with them. We are planning to have something for youth. Again, 2026 is where we are trying to expand to EDs and to youth. And initially, we had some grants via OSPI, the Office for Superintendent for Public Instruction. However, You know how
Yep.
the state budget is, and they cut the budget for that. So we are looking for new sponsors for that. But at any point, feel free to reach out to me directly, and I can share with you the other programs, not necessarily around leadership, but other programs for youth we have. And then I'm happy to connect you with other organizations who just focus on youth leadership.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. Erin.
Hi, thanks for this information and for all the great work you're doing. I moved relatively recently to Washington from Wisconsin, and thought this might be a great opportunity to kind of learn more about and connect with people doing environmental justice and just transitions work here. But I do still work with an organization that's based in Wisconsin. It's a tribally led food sovereignty coalition. So it sounds like maybe this is not the opportunity for me, but I just wanted to confirm.
No worries. Again, we're flexible and we understand these things. Welcome to Washington State. And yes, we could work. I will have to check just with our admin team, but we have done this. Might take us a little bit of magic behind the scenes, but if you can just let us know in your application, in one of the questions, you could add something. There's, I think, one question that says, would you like to add anything else? And then that's where you can say, hey, all this as a context. And in the meantime, I'll work with our admin team. I think we can make it happen. So don't worry. We'll work some magic. And again, I cannot promise who is going to be accepted or not, but we'll love to see your application. And full disclosure, the selection committee is formed by members of the Front and Center coordination team and also the community council. Community council are formed by other organizations that are part of the coalition. So we will have some members there as a way to give also the fairness process we want to keep in this.
Thank you.
Any final questions or comments? Seems no. And if any question or comment comes, again, send me an email to isabel@frontandcentered.org. And then remember that the last date to submit your application will be June 9th. And after that, we will go into reviewing all the applications we received. And I'll send you all an email confirming that the process of reviewing applications started, and I'll be updating everyone who submits their application throughout the entire process. So if you do not hear from me by June 10th, send me an email, please, just to make sure that we have your application. Thank you very much for making time this morning. And thank you, Sunrise, for sharing with anyone in your community. Feel free to invite friends, colleagues. And again, we want to continue building a solidarity network across Washington State. Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
And thank you, everyone, for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.